Good. Hey, listen, we're going to do things a little different this morning. First of all, I'm going to start out by congratulating Daniel Cameron for leading all the polls in the U.S. Senate race. And what I will say is this, I have a funny last name. It's, Faris spelled with one R. So on most everything, they put two R's, so that was spelled wrong. On that poll, for whatever reason, they completely butchered my name. They said it was undecided. So we're at 22% right now. Anyway, listen, I kind of usually start out with saying something that probably don't even need to be said here, but I know I don't look a lot like your regular politicians, but if we can go back to about the mid-1800s, I look exactly like what your politicians would look like. And I said we were going to have some fun, so just out of curiosity, because I get some grief over this, by a show of hands, who here wouldn't vote for a guy with a beard? That's what I thought. Okay, so beard stinks. Anyway, my name is Mike Faris. I'm running for U.S. Senate. Obviously, most of you know that that's the seat currently held by Mitch McConnell. I'm from Elizabethtown, Kentucky. I'm currently 39 years old. Just changed that number in December on the 20th. So, I actually was born in Portland, Indiana. Was dumped off in Meade County at 2.5 months old, abandoned by a biological mother. I was sent into a foster home at that very young age in Sonora, Kentucky, to a good farming family down there. I was with them until I was about 3 years old. And for whatever reason, the state decided to give me back to my biological mother. So from 3 to 12, I kind of lived through a living hell, per se. At 12, I kind of got in enough trouble there in southern Indiana, where the probation officer kind of was hanging me by my collar and said, "We got to do something with this kid. He's causing too much trouble." So by the grace of God, we carved a path to go back to that family in Sonora, and they adopted us and did what they call parental guardianship. And from 12 to 18, I worked at 120 acres to go back and hang with them. At 18, joined the Air Force, became a helicopter repairer, and did one term of service there, got out, hit the oil fields in about 2008, then all that collapsed, I went back to aviation. So since about early 2009, I've been in aviation ever since then. With small spats in the fixed wing, but mostly rotary wing, and specifically the Black Hawk helicopter. Most of you probably know what that is. In 2019, I fly all over for what I do for work, so I'm everywhere, other than the state of Kentucky most of the time. I'm here for about half the month and then away half the month. And, I got some childhood trauma that kind of keeps me from wearing a mask for long periods of time, so I went and got a medical exemption to it. And I had to go to New Jersey to do that. I couldn't even find a doctor here in the state that would listen to my concerns, so found a good doctor in New Jersey who listened to me, gave me the medical exemption, triple board certified neurologist, so it was all legal. I gave that note to the airlines, which they were by law required to exempt me from for the CDC mandates, and they broke the law. They never would, through the whole time, ever approve me to fly without a mask. So what I did is I started studying the law, and I thought, okay, how do I fix this problem? So in the interim, it looked like filing the suit against the TSA, which is the one that created the security directive, was the way to go. So we filed suit on them, and 2 days later, they put me on a terrorist watch list. So I thought, okay, well, that didn't work out too well. Ended up losing that case because it got switched up to D.C., and there's a liberal judge up there that ruled on another case that actually made ours what they call moot, which is basically a dead end. So I thought, okay, how do I hold them accountable now? So I went up to the CDC and 5 airlines. That case we're currently winning in Louisville right now, and just passed a motion to dismiss. Again, I want to harp on the fact that in my own state, I couldn't find an attorney that would take it up. So I had to sue myself. That's what they call pro se litigant. So did both of those cases pro se without counsel. And, as I dug into some laws, just trying to figure out how to defend my own constitutional rights, I just realized how many laws existed against us as citizens of this great country. And that kind of got me to pray a little bit. Well, what can one man do, to fix the problem in our nation? And kind of the message that I got was, well, if you can't beat them, join them, So here I stand before you running for U.S. Senate, and we got 5 good points I want to bring up that we're kind of running on. And there's, of course, a lot more to this agenda. I've got many great ideas, but we'd be here way too long if I sat here and spouted them all out. But that's going to be judicial reform. Obviously, I think we have a big problem with judges in this country not understanding the Constitution. And I know you see it on the news all the time. Every time the Trump administration tries to do anything good with, let's say, illegal immigration, some judge in the Southern District of New York shoots it down. Now, luckily, they've got some Supreme Court stuff. What looks like they're going to take it up here very soon of whether those district courts even have that right to put forth nationwide injunctions on the entire country. Because I mean, what does a New York judge, have an understanding or a level of understanding for the people of the state of Kentucky, right? So judicial reform is one of them. The next one would be election integrity. And in my opinion, I think that starts with each independent state on their voter rolls. And look, I have seen those voter rolls for our state, and they don't look great, even though they have been scrubbing them supposedly. We're at 110% registration by who's living or alive in our state. So obviously there's more people there that should be, and we need to take them off. And again, the Trump administration has requested that data, and our Secretary of State has declined to give it to them. And it looks like we might be headed for a legal battle there. And guess who gets to talk about that? The judges. So the next one is going to be free markets. For me, that pretty much applies to everything, but specifically healthcare. Right now you have kind of a very bloated healthcare system where these insurance companies are being paid by the federal government by and large, and then of course by the user of the healthcare. And so for us, I think what healthcare looks like as far as a decent fix and let ACA dwindle its own self down is HSAs and larger HSAs. Now that's not going to fix everybody's problem altogether, but if we start that now and our young ones start getting onto it, we can suck them off that ACA that are using that Medicaid and kind of move to a free market on the healthcare side. The other thing is fiscal responsibility. And so for me, what that looks like is this interesting tobacco we've got with all these foreign aid entanglements. I mean, we're sending entirely too much money across every other land except our own, and we've got so many problems here at home. And then, so the last one would be small government. Obviously I've talked about the fact that, this whole entire government has gotten very bloated, and our founding fathers never intended for it to be so big that a man couldn't go and redress his government for his grievances. So look, with that being said, I'll cut it short there. I know we got plenty of stuff lined up for the day. We do have a table outside, thanks to one of our great supporters, Kim, who's brought plenty of stuff for you guys to have. We've got our own website. Feel free to get on there, look at us, research us. I know I didn't talk about motorcycles. I don't know much about what's going on with problems that you guys have, so more than willing to speak with any of you about issues that you see in your arena and see what we can do to work with you on that. And I kind of like what the gentleman said about the 80-20. We've actually been lucky. Most of our supporters are about 90-10. So, and that's Republican and Democrat alike. So we've got a good message. We're speaking to many people across the state. We're not going to be your fundraising poster boy. That's not what we got in this race to do. Largely spent a lot of my own money in this race. So in my opinion, I don't think that's what we should be doing with elections. It doesn't need to be bought by a political action committee in any way, shape, or form, especially for people that are not within the state of Kentucky. I think in the sovereign land, the citizens of that state should be electing the people that they think best suits their interests. So I appreciate your time. I hope you guys enjoy your day. Thank you for having us, and God bless you all, and God bless the state of Kentucky.